Hi, my peeps. Welcome to another episode of Bad Water Business. Just to bring those of you who haven't been keeping up with us up to date, this week was a big week for us. We are purchasing land to start our animal sanctuary slash humanist wellness retreat slash homesteading school slash spa. We found a suitable piece of land very close to our major cities here in the GTA, in Ontario, Canada. And because we already have the board, and what we wanted, because this was something that I really am motivated to do ultimately for my kid, for my daughter, River. This is something that I want to do for her. I invited my very best friends. These are people that I imagine seeing every day for breakfast out of their cottages as I wave at them out of my cottage, to be the founding families, as it were, because we already have the business board and the young ladies who are helping me in my business achieve this each get an acre of land as per part of their payment for the sweat equity that they have put in helping me build my businesses. That is in addition to salary, of course, and career advancement. But now I want some founding families, you know, a rising tide lifts all boats. I've always been kind of a group thinker. And I'm not an isolationist. I like a community, I like a tribe. And so, even though I could financially do this by myself, I definitely asked my best friends, who their kids are like my kids. I trust them around my kid, to join me financially in this as the founding families. Now, in my mind, founders are very different than investors. These are people who are middle class, working class. A bunch of them are single moms. I think right now all of them are single moms, and one working professional. And so not only do they have their own children to provide for, but they are not in any financial state to be a benefactor. So that is absolutely not what I'm looking for. A benefactor is someone with a lot of money who is passionate about your project and decides to gift you the money, right? These are people that need this project to work out and don't have the money to sort of throw around, right? So these founders, I had a meeting with them on Saturday, which is hilarious since I was actually trying to recover from a botched surgery that I'm still currently trying to recover from. Your girl doesn't stop till she's dead, literally, in many cases. So without further ado, let's go through the presentation that I presented to my founders, because even though these were my best friends and people who other much colder, much psychopathically minded business people would say are low value because they're not going to give me a bunch of cash, these people are nevertheless much more important to me than the money is. And ultimately, I need, in my plan, in my head, I need these people, no matter what, to help me get there, and build this community that is ours together, right? So without further ado, let's switch, and I will talk you through the presentation that I did for the founders, okay? So first we have our welcome slide, which I built with Ikram, our social media manager and marketer. She's freaking awesome. I can't even tell you how amazing this woman is. She's one of the board. So right now we have 3 major branches in our business that we are trying to build. We have the board, which is people within Bad Water Business, within the company, who work for the company, who are invested in the project by being responsible for it and for perpetuating its income potential, right? And then we have the founders. These are these people that we're talking to today. And then in the future, I will do another episode where I present to you the presentation that I will be doing for the benefactors slash investors who are interested in this project. So, welcome slide for the founders. Thank you for coming. putting my name on it. That's very important. It's not for vanity's sake. It is for them to feel like I have taken ownership of this project, and there's no sort of like plausible deniability that this isn't my idea, that I am not fully responsible for what I'm about to say next, right? Next thing is, this is a potential founder/investor presentation for land purchase, homesteading community, and ultimately a thriving business together. What is the business? Spa resort. That's the biggest part of this business. That's the most important part of this business. This presentation introduces our spa resort, our services, and our vision to provide a premium wellness experience that combines relaxation, nature, and luxury. So this is the external view, what people would see from the outside looking in on what we are presenting as a company, right? Founder benefits: 1 acre of privately owned land to every founding family. So this piece of land is 50 acres. It's huge. So part of what I expect as to give my founders with their subscription money, as it were, is 1 acre of their own privately owned land. And we will elaborate more on that from the 50 acres, okay? Crop sharing community and help running our farm, our animals, our greenhouses, and our homes. Eventual profit sharing of all opportunities to do with eco resort, camping, farming, and event business. This is my squishy daughter who I'm doing all this for. And no, she didn't ask me to do it. This is something I'm aspiring to do for her. And the saying underneath is, everybody wants to be an isolationist until they have the flu or fall on a nail and can't feed the chickens. Quote by this philosopher, Danya Salwan. I don't know who she is. Anyway, why are you invited? It's not the money. Badwater Business can handle this by themselves financially. This is about community. Everyone in this room is someone we can trust around our children to nurture, help, and enjoy this adventure together, and to have the kind of tribe we are meant to have anthropologically, without fear of aggression, toxicity, safety concerns, or dishonesty. In short, it's all about our kids and the future. And personally, just to speak personally to this, I am kind of horrified that we're on this like hellscape, end stage, late capitalism, like fucking spiraling, circling the drain. And that we are unable as the middle class and the working class to sort of opt out of it. And I was just looking long term at what I would be leaving my daughter in this world, and that is what is motivating me to make all these big swings and these big moves that are eco-social, humanist, and ultimately about holistic human wellness, not just about like giving a massage and then piecing the fuck out with my paycheck. Because stress is the last killer of humans. That is the last major killer, I should say, of humans, next to war. And I just don't want to leave a husk of a planet left for the future. I don't understand people that are like, well, it's not our problem, and they like just burn through all the resources they're gonna piece out, and then what? And then what? Anyway, next. Big no-nos. Despite this being an eco-socialist, environmentally focused, humanist, holistic wellness project, we are not anti-science, medicine, or safety. We are not fleeing modernity. We are fleeing capitalism. Number 2, this project is centered around mixed-race children, queer parents, ethnic fathers, and female/mother leadership. If this is triggering to any of you, this is not the project for you. Internet. If this is triggering to you, my channel is probably not for you. I'm probably not the person for you, and it's best that you opt out right now, because I don't respond to aggression, denigration. I don't even respond to criticism. Like, you can ask the people around me. Like, I just don't give a fuck. Sorry, YouTube will probably bleep that out. So don't waste your energy. I just don't care. These are unshakable rules for me. I do not want my kid to grow up in a hostile environment. I want people who come to this resort to feel safe, to feel welcome. And I like to think of myself as a pacifist with a gun, if you will. If you disturb the peace at any cost, that's when I begin to lose any empathy for you. And that's not good in my case. Anyway, moving forward. Why is it important? Because experiences and opportunities like this are getting further out of reach for the middle class and the working class every day. We are being priced out of community, nature, organic food, and peace and wellness. Moving on. no soapbox for me today. I don't have the time. Now, let us begin to talk about the project and the money. And here I paused and I allowed people to ask some questions. People did ask very pertinent questions. I found that I told them to, I was pleased that I was able to tell them to hold on for a second, because all the questions asked were addressed by the rest of the presentation. So before we get into some of those questions, let's just go through the rest of the presentation, which is what I advise people with the questions they asked. And let's go through it and then we can discuss, okay? Our direction business-wise. Our vision is to become a leading spa resort and wellness destination at this scale, this close to Toronto and the GTA. I sort of wanted like to have something be closer than the Bahamas and Reykjavik, since we all know that all the prices all over the world right now for gas and for flights is skyrocketing, and people are sort of trapped on their own continent in their own neighborhood right now. So to me, this is a need. It's a lack. This close to such a major hub. We are a huge hub in North America. I think we've exceeded the size of the Chicago area, actually. So I think we're the second largest urban hub in North America, and people are stressed. They're pulled thin here in Toronto. Prices are crazy. The food itself is so expensive. All that ties into why it's the right time to get into this vision, as far as I am concerned, okay? This close to Toronto GTA, we also intend to run a homesteading school, host other nature-based ecological events such as nature dances, raves, peaceful camping experiences, and weddings. So we intend to monetize this as much as possible as soon as we can, starting with this just being a campground to begin with, because campgrounds in this region, and it is like on the border between Southern Ontario and the Canadian Shield. It is Algonquinish area, and per day, Algonquin is I think 100 per day to camp. And if we price it not even close to that, we'd still make mad ass money in the summers here. So already this is something that can yield income for the people that invest in it, which is something very important to me. Passive income is like the most important thing for me. Our mission to provide genuine healing and a getaway out of the cycle of stress created by the city, to provide organic fruits and vegetables for our collective, as well as marketable produce for everyone else this close to the city, again, at farmers markets, to provide an animal sanctuary where humane husbandry can be taught as part of the homesteading school. So for me, like the three echelons, like we cannot live without each other, and we cannot live by exploiting the other two echelons, that is the earth and plants in our food system, and animals as well. If you are against one, then you have to be against all the others. That being said, I'm definitely like a North African animal eating farmer. I just believe that there is a way to exist in the natural cycle with no waste and without poisoning the earth to do these things. And I just want to bring these humane practices back into our food, because ultimately our food is healthier, our food is cleaner, and it tastes better when you don't just give in to the need to make profit to the nth degree. You can still make a profit, it's just not like putting everything, every single need aside in order to just make the most money. Like it's insane, and it's killing us all, including the planet and the animals who have no hand in this and what we're doing here. Okay, community commitment. While we cannot guarantee the success of any of these projects, the funds contributed by founders will at the very least go toward infrastructure to make our founders comfortable and safe on their land. We talked about this. So like they were like, okay, so say you collect the monthly fee and we pay that month we pay what is required of the mortgage and the land tax. Where would the rest go? And I was like, well, the rest would go to the board to pay the people taking care of the land while we're not there, because we have to all go to our jobs in Toronto. And the first thing that the board would be in charge of is setting up the perimeter and setting up security cameras, et cetera, safety like that. So these aren't wants, they're needs, right? Followed by like water tank and plumbing, followed by internet, followed by all these other things that it just naturally takes in order to just not have like a barren piece of land in the middle of nowhere that you purchase that you can't do anything with, right? So moving on, let's talk about the actual land. What we know so far, the cost is about $200K. The property is 50 acres. It is 2.5 hours outside of GTA about, or 3.5 hours in heavy traffic. It is located along 2 major roadways and close to a town, with a hospital only about 10 to 15 minutes away. It is close to established hydro lines, making wireless internet setup and communications more accessible. It already has underground plumbing and infrastructure. I am mentioning all this to say this is a unique experience at this price, especially that hydro, aka electricity for those of you who are not from the area, and underground plumbing infrastructure on pieces of land like this are usually huge sunk costs to just even begin to make land livable. These things are already in there. So yeah, so moving on. So a smart investor would know what the hell I was talking about here, right? Founder contribution, the down payment plus fees, will be at least $70K. The mortgage and property tax will total approximately $1,100 per month. However, for founders, the initial down payment contribution is $3K per person. The monthly contribution will be $250. That's it. Now, some of you are screaming, this is fucking stupid, where you are. I emphasize again that these are not investors. These are founders. A lot of them are single mothers. This is all I am willing to ask for from my friends and my family, that I basically really want to get in on this, not only for their own well-being, because I see this being good for them. I would never suggest it if I thought that it was only good for me. I want to share this with these people, and these people do not have the money to throw around. That's not the point. That's not the point of this, of the founders. The founders are not investors. They are people who, I wouldn't ask for any money from them if I didn't want them to commit somehow, to have skin in the game. So the money I am asking for is for them to have skin in the game, basically, to have put pen to paper, switch to money, put money down, so that they take this opportunity seriously. People don't take stuff you give them for free seriously, in my opinion. So, and the monthly contribution, that would be perfect worst case scenario. That's all that would be needed for us to maintain at least a very minimal way of keeping this land, paying the mortgage, paying the land tax, and collecting some maintenance, paying some salaries, right? So moving on, what your money will pay for: an acre of your own land to build your own home on. This is a big one. An acre of land right now in the same area costs between 15 to 35K. So I'm offering people the same amount of land in Toronto. These are my friends and my family. Again, at 3K. Again, I can handle this on my own. It's not about these founders helping me pay for this. This is something I want for myself and for my kid. But I also really want to involve these people who I know are struggling financially. So a lot of you are thinking this is a fucking crackpot. I think the only reason you think that, those of you who are questioning this in a capitalist way, is because a lot of you don't come along an opportunity where the humans come first in a business endeavor. But this is how I run my businesses, and it's worked. So I am not open to criticism where being kind and involving your family and like splitting up the mammoth you've hunted down and giving it to your tribe, I am not mad at that. It has not hurt me business wise. Could I be richer? Yeah, absolutely. But I think there's more. You can't eat bricks of gold. There is more to life than just raping everyone around you for the biggest amount of money. And that's just not who I am. And I don't feel the need to do it. So an acre is huge. If you want to separate and build your own homestead, no problem. You own it. You do you, boo. However, and then back to my squishy faced baby again, everybody wants to be an isolationist until they have the flu or fall on a nail and can't feed the chickens. God damn, that philosopher Danya Salwan again. You know, like she's fucking right across. Really, she's so smart. She's so smart. Yeah. So, what you get for your money as a founder: unlimited use of 50 acres on anything built there. This includes a greenhouse, any fruit and vegetables grown on the farmland, eventual development of a hotel, eventual hot springs and spa services. Ability to request and propose your own desires and dreams as long as they conform to our mission statement and receive a majority vote from the founders and the board. So how I explained it to people there is like the founders and the board. I was like, you guys are the royal family, the board is parliament. You get to enjoy a lot of the tax money, and the board gets to scream at each other and figure out how the hell to run the damn country. You know what I mean? Oh, and I got some laughs for that. So the founders and the board are the two branches out of this tree already, right? Did we mention the eventual hot springs and spa services, land management team to manage, market, repair, and protect the facilities so that you do not have to worry about your investment while you are working in Toronto? So this is what my founders would get. But Danya, will I be paying $250 forever? Absolutely not. Once we start making a profit and your payments can be covered by your investor dividends, your payments will be drawn from those investor dividends as founders, and any excess will be deposited into your account. Once the mortgage is paid off, which we will definitely try to do as fast as possible, even though we have a 25-year mortgage that is being offered to us tentatively right now, if we can pay it down in freaking 10, why the hell not? And if we have a little extra money coming in, let's freaking do it. I'm pro just paying this thing off so that everything that comes in after that is just pure profit, right? That's just smart business. So your dividends will be completely assigned to your account once the mortgage is paid off. Note, dividends from any business are what remains for shareholders after all business expenses for the month have been covered. For example, if we only make enough money to pay the people running this land, they are paid first, and then investors receive dividends. Okay? Some ownership stipulations: behavior deemed negative for the community or unlawful will be dealt with legally first, and secondarily will be put to a vote by the founders and the board to determine whether the offending parties should be separated onto their 1 acre away from the main project and have their project participation rights revoked. Now, there's another clause that I haven't put in here yet because this was one that one of the founders actually suggested and said she would be most comfortable if we had this clause in there, and she's an accountant who studied business law. So that she said we should have also, in the most egregious of crimes, have a snatchback shotgun clause. And we're talking about like you physically attack someone. We're talking about like really bad shit. Because my first idea was just that we put up a fence between us and you, and you're fucking exiled, basically. And then she was like, no, if someone's gonna attack people, Danya, then we don't want them there at all, so you need to have a shotgun clause. And I was like, you know what? You're right. What that will look like financially, you will still receive dividends from what you have participated in financially so far, but there will be no increase in dividends as you will have opted out of the collective project. Okay, next. Owner stipulations, more. Ownership of the 1 acre lots will be along the main roads. Why? Because if you choose to separate your 1 acre, you do not want to rely on the goodwill of the collective to access your own property. This also allows for much easier / cheaper access for contractors, emergency services, and resources to reach your own piece of land, as well as providing natural boundary protection. It's always better if you're on the edge of your property, you can fucking see people sneaking on there. Not that we won't have cameras instantly strapped to the trees to tell us if a serial killer comes across our boundaries to bury a body there. Yeah. Anyway. So where are we right now in this whole process? Right now, a lawyer, a real estate agent are communicating with the city where that piece of land is to determine whether there is any fine print concerning this land that could prevent all aspects of our project from taking place. Until we are absolutely sure that we will not be hindered by the government, we will not proceed. If this land is purchased in the meantime, we will continue looking for equally suitable land. Until then, you have time to consider and change your minds But Danya, what if I have more to invest? What do I get for that? Easy. You receive more dividends, just like in any other company. Your share of dividends increases as your investment grows. Here's a topographical map of it. Another one. Thank you for coming. That is it. Again, founders are not investors. The next one we will be showing you is, in the next episode, of course, is the presentation that will be for our investors and benefactors. That is a whole other ballgame. They don't care about the sort of morality or spirit of the project. They just want to see it thrive and know that they put their money somewhere that's being managed in a very financially intelligent way. So that presentation, every presentation you make, if you are trying to get people on board, should make it so stupidly clear why it is a win for those people, right? And so you need to, in my opinion, you need to discuss your boundaries, your rules, because if your investor slash founder is already not comfortable with things that you find non-negotiable, then they're not for you. And then after that, you have to really emphasize, keep it really simple and really simple language, how these people are guaranteed to win something, even if you fail. Win even if you fail, right? Plan every business venture to do something, even worst case scenario. Do you know what I'm saying? That's where people want to put their money, right? Unless they're gambling, which don't get me started. I'm an old school investor. I worked in financial institutions. I was a financial planner, and I don't gamble. I don't sports bet with people's investing money. That's not what we try to do here. That's it. Keeping it short and sweet. Thank you so much for sitting through that. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to put them down in the comments. If you can go by our Patreon and please help us out with this project. If you feel like you don't have enough money to invest but would love to see this project come to life, we do have a lot of rewards planned for anyone who spends even a penny to help us out. We will be doing a demonstration of that soon for you guys and telling you what anyone who wants to participate in helping us can receive from us. And we are eternally grateful for your attention, for your participation in any way. Thank you so much, you guys. Wish us luck. So far, so good. And we loves ya.